Everybody, this is Jim Wallace from Facebook page Purdue Band Fan and also PurdueBandFan.com, and I'm with two key members of the 2018, shows how old I might be, All-American Marching Band. So on your right is Katie Schleis. Katie is the current 30th Golden Girl.
Yes.
On the left is Zach Sutton. Zach is the only drum major this year. And we'll give you an opportunity to meet these two fine students a little bit more here. So Katie, why don't we start with you? So you're the current Golden Girl. When did you start twirling?
I started twirling when I was 3 years old. And so at that point, it was just more of recreational classes as something to do. And then when I was 8, I started with competitive twirling. And from there, it's grown into what it is today. And I'm here at Purdue twirling as the Golden Girl.
And before you were the Golden Girl, you also had feature twirling positions.
Yes, so last year I was the girl in black, and then my freshman year I was a silver twin with Olivia Zugai.
Cool. So I ought to also add that I know you play an instrument.
I do, yes. I play the clarinet. So in the spring semester, I participate in one of the concert ensembles within Purdue bands. So I get to enjoy both the auxiliary side of it and the instrumental side of it, which I think is something special.
And that's quite different.
Yes.
I don't know that I've known other twirlers that could play an instrument.
I believe there's been a few, but
Okay.
not too many.
Okay.
So, not too many.
And one last thing, your hometown, where is that?
I'm from Oshkosh, Wisconsin.
And your major?
I'm studying speech, language, and hearing sciences.
Oh, good. And what are you going to do? You're going to be my audiologist someday? Because I can't hear.
Possibly. Right now I'm leaning more towards the speech language pathology side of it, so hoping to work in a healthcare setting, whether that be a hospital or a nursing home or even a school setting
Okay.
with kids who have speech issues.
So you're a junior, right?
Correct, yes.
So you have at least one more year?
At least one more year. You have to have your master's degree to be a speech language pathologist.
Okay.
So after undergrad, there's an additional 2 years of study in a master's program.
Would you do that here at Purdue?
It is a possibility, yes.
Okay.
Purdue is one of the top schools within the country, so
All
we'll
right.
see.
And Zach, I know you're a baritone player.
Yes, I play baritone.
Yeah, there you go. You have the right shirt on. And you're a good baritone player.
Thank you.
I know you are, because I've heard you play.
Yeah, I played for a few years.
So when did you start playing an instrument?
I first started piano in elementary school. I did that for a few years, and then come 6th grade, I joined 6th grade band playing trumpet. And then freshman year of high school, I switched to baritone. And throughout high school, I played baritone and also picked up trombone for jazz band and all that. And then when I got here, I auditioned for marching band and baritone. So sometime. So.
I always think, because I played the clarinet and started in 5th grade as well, and you don't really know much about instruments. So somebody says, well, why don't you play and substitute whatever instrument it might be? And in your case, Zach, it was the trumpet.
Yep.
Now, I can understand that because the trumpet is kind of they play the melody and they're kind of the leaders of the band in a small way. But the baritone is an interesting instrument to me.
Yeah, I think choosing trumpet was pretty easy as a kid because you just pick one. It's like, oh, I like that one. And then as I got in high school, I kind of liked the sound of the baritone. I liked the feel of the baritone. And my teacher was like, hey, you should try baritone. We needed some good baritone players in our band. So I tried it and I really enjoyed it. So.
Well, you obviously did because you're still playing, and a lot of people, when you think about all of the students you were with in 5th grade, most of them are not playing anymore.
Yeah, that's very true.
So you're very rare.
We made it to college, so.
Yeah, you're not a quitter.
No.
Exactly. So, your hometown, Zach?
I'm from Valparaiso, Indiana.
Okay, so you're a local person, kind of?
Not too far.
Yeah. What's your major?
Mechanical engineering technology, and I am a senior, graduating in December, so I'm almost done.
And what is your career ambition?
I'll probably work in industry somewhere in manufacturing as a manufacturing or mechanical engineer. So.
Are you open to moving outside of the Midwest?
Definitely, yeah. I'd like to try. I think now's a good time to see new places, so I'm definitely open to it.
So let's talk about the drum major position. Where did that spark? Where did that interest come from? I want to be the drum major.
So, I guess my first 3 years in the band, I never really thought about. That was never really on the table. And then last year, for my senior year, this is my 8th semester, but last fall I took a co-op. So last fall I was down in Mississippi working. So.
And we missed you, by the way.
Yeah, so I was going to be second leader that semester, that season last year, with my senior class and everything. And when I took this co-op position, I was kind of bummed about it because I was going to miss my senior season. So being gone, it made me realize how much I missed being in the band. Kind of missed all my friends and missed everything about it. Kind of realized how much it meant to me. So coming back, I wanted to do it. Kind of give as much as I could, and I decided that trying out for drum major would be the best way I could do that. So I went ahead and signed up for the audition. So
Were you a drum major in high school?
no.
Okay. So tell me about the tryout process.
So the first part of the tryout process is pretty parallel with the student leader audition that our 1s and 10s and section leaders go through. So that is, there's an interview. The drum major interview is just a little bit longer. There is a marching and teaching audition, so we have to teach a group of people how to march. And then after that, it's kind of a little bit more. So there's a march off, which is just a little more advanced marching techniques, and it's a little more high pressure. There's a little bit of a history exam, history of the band. And all that comprises the first round. And the second round, if you make it to the second round, which is Final 5, and this year is actually the Final 6, is it's all the physical things. So it's game management, which is how you run the band in the stands during the game. There's a mace routine, which is a twirling routine to Hail Purdue. And there is doing the back bend, the slow march, and the drum major strut, and then another marching evaluation after that. So
How did you find out you had been selected?
I was actually brought into this room the day of, and they said, I was here with Professor Conway and Professor Gephardt, and they handed me a piece of paper and they said, I'll give you a second to read this, and it said, you've been selected to be the drum major of the Purdue All-American Marching Band, and I was pretty blown away. So,
Yeah.
And then I had to go the rest of the day not tell anybody until the announcement was released.
That's not fair.
That's always the hardest part.
But I made it through that day fine, and no one knew until I...
So Katie, tell me how you found out about being a Golden Girl.
So after the auditions were completed, we waited a few hours, and Professor Gephardt had called us on her phone and had told me that I was selected to be Purdue's 30th Golden Girl. So in the same case too, we are not allowed to share that until Purdue bands releases their press release. So you got to kind of keep it tight-lipped, which is hard because it's so exciting and you just want to share it with
Can you call mom and dad?
Yes, you can tell your immediate family, but nothing is to be posted on a social media site. So
it's pretty exciting being the 30th Golden Girl. It's quite an icon
Yes.
in the All-American Marching
it
Band.
is.
I want to ask both of you what effect, if any, your commitment to and the time commitment to the bands has had on your studies. Can you keep your grades up and have enough time to study and also work 10 hours a week plus Saturdays during marching band season?
Yeah, without a doubt. I think many people in this band are in really high demanding majors.
Absolutely.
Time demanding and just a lot. They have to put a lot into their majors just like they put a lot into band. I think I find that I do better when there's band actually going on because I have so much to do. I have to really think about planning out my time and things like that. So, and also another part of that is there's people around you to help you. So a lot of the people that you're in band with are in the same classes as you are. So having that support network and also that pressure to manage your time well, I think makes band even help you do better.
So Katie, does it help your time management skills, do you think?
It does, yeah. I find that for me personally, if I write everything down in my planner, and I have a list of when I'm doing my studies, when I'm practicing baton, when I'm socializing with friends, it really helps me stay on top of it in that sense. And when that organizational system falls through the cracks, that's when I notice that I start to have issues. So if I am able to set myself up for success, then I'm able to reach everything that I need to.
Yeah, I would agree.
So if a high school senior was watching this video and they had concerns about, or maybe their parents had concerns as well about, can you do both, your vote would be absolutely.
Yes.
No, without a doubt. I think when you first get in here, it will be stressful because college is very different than high school because not only do you have class and band, you have to find time to eat, find time to do your laundry, find time to socialize, find time to manage all these new things that are in your life. So, but I think after you get over that first, getting into the swing of things, you can settle into a routine and settle into a process that really...
It's interesting that you would mention laundry because I've heard stories about some freshmen going up to another upperclassman and say, how do you work this machine?
Yeah, like Zach said, it's hard at first because there's so many of these new responsibilities that are tacked onto you that you maybe didn't do at home. And so trying to find time for it all at the moment might seem impossible, but it's doable. There's almost 400 kids in the marching band that are doing it right now, so you can too.
So, exactly.
So Katie, I know that the university leans on you a little bit to be a a diplomat, goodwill person within the community and within the university. You do quite a bit of that outside of just the marching band part, right?
Yes, absolutely. Over the summer, I had came down to Purdue a couple times to do a couple of different performances, one in Fort Wayne at their Three Rivers Festival, and then additionally during the school year we do multiple outreach performances. So a couple weeks ago we were at Westminster Village performing at a nursing home. So different things like that to be out in the community. It's exciting because you get to meet Purdue fans from all over the state of Indiana, so that's something that's been special.
The other thing I think that would be special for you is I see a lot of little girls looking up to
Yes.
you, like you are their mentor.
Yes. So it's exciting to be in that spot now, because when I was younger, you always looked up to him, and now, you're in that higher pedestal position. So you got to realize like they are looking up to you. So you do need to be on your best at all times, and even if your day isn't going that great, you gotta put that smile on, because you know that you're affecting and impacting someone's life.
Yeah. So also the Golden Girl leads the band.
Yes.
Wherever you go, everybody else is going to follow.
Right. Yeah, so I better know where I'm going, right?
Yes, you better. Now, when you're going up and down 3rd Street, well, maybe that's not so bad, but the reality of it is that do you ever feel any pressure up there, especially we're in a different environment where you're not sure where to go?
At times, yes, it's a little intimidating, but I have to understand that there are people behind me that not only that are following me, but they're also supporting me. So understanding that the band family and that tight-knit community that we all have is there to support you too is something that helps.
So when you're marching along either 3rd Street or into the stadium or something, do people say, "Hi, Golden Girl," and wave at you?
Yes, at times they'll be pointing, they'll be like, "That's the Golden Girl, that's the girl in black, that's Miss Boilerette, those are the twins, that's the team."
Yeah.
So it's kind of fun to be able to interact with them, and then like you give them a little wave and they're like, "Oh my gosh, she waved at me." And like, "I'm just a regular person."
Right,
just like
that's
you.
cool. Yeah.
So
That's great. And Zach, so Katie leads the entire band, but you lead the block, the musicians, the horns, the winds, and the drum line. They do everything on your command.
On my whistle, yeah.
Yeah,
So,
you blow the whistle, they've got to react.
yeah.
Is that powerful?
I've gotten used to it, but it was a little bit weird at first because usually when you're back in the music block, these things just kind of happen. And you don't really think about it. It's like, oh, the whistle blew, let's get ready to play. But when you're on the front end, you have to think about when it's going to happen, where it's going to happen, and what you're going to play. And it's a little different. So there's just more things to think about. But in terms of power thing, it's just, I don't know. I wouldn't really say it's a
So let's talk about game management. You know, everything that goes on in that band. You've got, what, 2 headsets on? One you're listening?
One for the band, just for the speakers for
Yeah.
the band, and then one that goes up to the press box where Professor Conway is sitting.
So the press box is talking to you,
Yeah.
telling you when you can play and when not to play.
Yeah.
And then you have the decision to make what tune you're going to play. How does that work?
So, especially as a new drum major, having someone else in my ear is a huge help. So Professor Conway, the headset that we have is 2-way, so I can talk to him and he can talk to me. And if I'm ever having any trouble on song decision, we can discuss it. If there's a media timeout coming up, he can say, "Hey, you're gonna have this long at the end of the media timeout," and I can look at my playbook on my arm and say, we can discuss what song will be best based on like the game environment. So definitely these first few games, that's been a huge crutch for me, and it's been really helped me kind of gain confidence in my game management part of my job. And that is, I think that's the main, besides like showmanship and everything, I think that's the main function, and that's definitely, I'm still growing into that, I think.
Now, we have some, I don't know if we want to call them songs, but when it's 3rd down, for example, and let's say on 2nd down, we're not sure whether he made a 1st down. Do you get help on that call? Does somebody say, yes, it's going to be 3rd down?
Yeah, so there are a few things like that. There's the scoreboard isn't always right, which I've found to be true, and I've wrongly relied on it before, and where Professor Conway has told me something that the scoreboard doesn't say. So so up in the press box, they usually know, they're the first to know when anything happens, so they can see all the refs, they can see all the game information, so they know when something's going to happen. This past week, that call that was overturned that we all wish was not overturned.
Yeah, no kidding.
I knew about, after the first chorus, to Let It Be, that it was going to be overturned, and I couldn't say anything, and we went through after the entire song pretty much.
So have you made any mistakes up there so far?
I don't think I've made any major mistakes.
Oh, that's good.
So I think I've really surprised myself so far with no big ones, because it was first time drum major with no
Well, yeah.
support like that. I was of course nervous that I'd make.
I remember on one play where they got a first down, but we didn't think it was a first down, so we were doing the third down chant.
It's bound to happen. I know I'm going to
Yeah.
do it, so I'm not worried about it. But
Yeah.
so far so good. So.
Okay, good. Well, let's see, we've gone 15 minutes, and that's probably we're taxing our listeners'
Yeah.
time span. Do you have anything you want to close with? Anything I didn't ask that you'd like to mention?
I think if you're watching this and you're a potential band member, definitely join. Definitely come see the band.
Yeah.
I think this band is so amazing. It recruits for itself, honestly. If you see it, it's something that you want to be part of.
Yeah. You definitely, I've noticed, like, in talking with other twirlers throughout the country, their bands definitely do not get to do as much stuff as Purdue bands does. In regards to even just your typical game day activities. We're out there in the community and definitely a face for the fan base of Purdue, and even internationally. This past spring we were in Ireland. So in that regard, there's a lot of opportunities, and so that's something that when deciding where to go to school, and if you want to be a member of the marching band, is definitely something to look into.
And we probably should mention, too, that we have twirling scholarships.
Yes, that is true.
So that's another little kind of sweetener. All right, well, thank you, both of you. Appreciate you.